Welcome guys, I'm Carlo here with
Andre.
We are at Alcatraz Milan with Deego from Fontaines D.C. Welcome in Milan.
Thanks very much.
And thank you so much for giving some of your time.
No problem.
Before the show.
Okay.
We have some few questions for you, and we would like to start with an easy one, an ice-breaking question.
Sure.
That is, when and how did Fontaines D.C. meet and join together to create music and start this process of creativity together?
We met in Dublin. So, a long time ago, maybe like 10 years ago or something. We were all in music college together. We trying to navigate meeting people there, and we saw books in each other's pockets, and we like, I took a book out of one of the guys' pockets, and started like that.
What were your references as a group? Your icons that lead through your process? Favorite groups, artists, politicians, I don't know.
Any inspiration is good enough.
Not many politicians, I wouldn't say, but yeah, we've gone through loads of phases. Like when we started off, we were really into 50s music, like 50s rock and roll stuff, like Buddy Holly, and moved from that through to surf music, Beach Boys and like Ramones, and trying to find some kind of commonality between them.
Okay.
But it was when we got into the fall in girl band that we found some kind of repetition in it. And it was interesting to us, this mixture of surf and repetition and noise.
Okay.
And yeah, so that was where we kind of music started to click into place for us. But
Yeah, where you started?
Yeah, because there was a few years where we just didn't know what we were doing at all.
Okay.
Like, yeah, really.
But Deego, you always believed in yourself, and apart from yourself, who was the first ones that told you, you guys are the shit, there is something here, let's develop, let's build on that. Did you have someone that really voiced this support in the early days?
Yeah, our manager Trev, when we first met him, he was running the Workman's, which is a nightclub in Dublin that puts on bands and things like that. And yeah, he booked us for a show, and he apparently told us later he was waiting for us to have 3 good songs.
Okay.
And then he came up to us and he was like, I'd like to manage you. Okay. And we had no interest from anyone at the time. We were very excited to do this. We went to meet him for a coffee somewhere, and we sat down with him, and apparently he was waiting to hear how big we wanted to be.
Okay.
Like how successful we wanted to be.
Did you have already an idea of how big you wanted to go? How far you wanted to go? Or was it still in the very dreamy phase of the early days?
We said to him we wanted to be as big as the Strokes.
Oh, okay.
Which is a mental thing to say, honestly. It's like a mad thing to say when you can't like put 4 chords together, But we were maybe we believed in ourselves, or we were just completely delusional.
However, everything starts always at a pub. Always.
Yeah.
And talking about turning points, what about a moment, a song, an album that for you guys changed something for your career? Changed something about the way your music were to the public?
I think that we learned different bits here and there from each one's. Like, we would have listened to the Beach Boys and picked up something about harmonies.
Of course.
We would have listened to what else was a good one for us? Girl band was really important for us at a specific time. But I think that ultimately what we really learned from was the Rolling Stones, because they believed in recording live, like everything together.
Okay.
And that was the way we did our first 3 albums. And it's what made us, want to get really good at playing live as well. But that whole thing of always being a live band, even in the studio, I think is what made us into a proper band.
So it was more about the mindset and like this style that you wanted to follow, rather than having a singular turning point. It's more building that turning point through your performance and through the idea of being a really good live band anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, and I think that keeps you like limited in what you do in the studio, because you don't do too many overdubs of things to begin with, because we want to be able to replicate it live all the time. And but I think another album that was important for us was the Pogues, Rum, Sodomy and the Lash. Like, that was amazing for Green to find his confidence singing in his own accent. Yeah. And the poetry as well, of course,
And speaking about the last album, Romance, how was to work with James Ford? And for you, why Romance had this resonance with the public and for you? as an album, as your fourth album?
Okay, well, I think that James Ford was like an amazing producer, and we had heard about him a lot, obviously through the years. But our new managements that we have, who still work with our old manager, they work with the Arctic Monkeys as well.
Yeah.
And we kind of got in touch with the Monkeys and their people and stuff like that through that. So it was easy for us to kind of get in touch with James. We made a connection with him, and you know, I think he made a great album with us. And I think that, you know, in terms of resonating with the public, I think that there's like a few different reasons why it might do that. Ultimately, we're very song focused as a band. We really like, that's the main thing for us, and it always has been. And I think that people like, you know, songs. You know, I mean, I say that, but there's, you know, that might sound obvious, but there's some bands that are more about aesthetic or what their music can represent to people in some way, or having a really powerful emotion to their vocal or something, but the songwriting kind of lets it down in some degree. But the like really rigid songwriting was important to us, and I think that also there's a lot to be said for moments in time, and like this just being a very like that this album working at this moment in time because of how it is, you know.
For sure.
And in terms of touching on this, because as you said, there are different priorities for different bands, but in terms of what values, what kind of mood do you guys want to reflect as a band? Is there something specific that you guys talk among yourself about that you want to show the world that you're about this, or is just being ourselves and then let people think what they want?
Yeah, I think that's, you kind of zoned in on something important there, because actually when we were doing our previous albums, we were always very, you know, focused on what is it this album is trying to say as a cohesive piece of work. All these songs collected together should have some kind of identity. We'd write it out on a whiteboard, the list of the songs that we had, and see which ones were connected to each other in some way. And we'd find what the theme of the album was and where we would bring it to, like with the creative aspects, like the artwork and the music videos. But I think that with this album, we kind of had realized that by doing this kind of process, we had been fundamentally restricting ourselves, because we had been finding this way of being and trying to make this kind of thing like this. And we had said, oh, there's always been these fears that we've had musically and as people and in the way that we dress and blah, blah, blah. But they're things that we wanted to do. The fears weren't us, they were outside of us. And
like the perception that they might have about those things that you didn't feel that will pertain to the theme that you defined.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Or even just like fear of like, you know, dressing in certain ways and things like that, and wilder musical ideas. And we just wanted to say, fuck that, basically.
That's a great motto.
No, and just go for it and see what happens. And we just threw everything at the wall, and this is what we came out with.
You're playing Romance all over the world.
Yeah.
What do you think about the future goals of Fontaines D.C, the vision, the dreams are changing with the successes that is coming, with the experiences that you're doing?
Yeah, I think that, you know, it's quite healthy for dreams to change. And I think that, I don't know, in some ways it's healthy, in some ways it's a bit sad, because, you know, we always, as people, are looking forward to something, and then we get that thing and we enjoy it for a while, but then we're looking to the next thing. It's very hard to take that moment and actually just go sit in that and go, what I have is enough, and it's great. Like, I think that's something that I'm trying to nurture in myself, to actually sit and enjoy this as it is right now, as opposed to like dreaming of something more. But of course we'll always have artistic ambitions of something more, but I think that in terms of how our music is doing, I'm really happy with that. You know, in terms of how it's selling or venues or anything like that.
Yeah, that is the most important thing, to enjoy everything that is coming.
And I think it's also it's very healthy, you know, as you said, if you can't even savor a success and you're already focused on the next big thing, and you're already focused on what are the next steps to make this success even bigger, then you don't appreciate probably as much as you should what you're actually achieving. And what you guys are doing across the world is insane. So I'm glad that you guys are taking the time to let that sink in.
Totally, yeah, but I don't think I'm going to be too harsh on my past self either in that regard, because I think that when we were younger, it was kind of nerve-inducing, a lot of these things, and you'd kind of have lots of mixed, crazy emotions, loads of excitement, loads of nerves, and things like that for playing on TV or whatever, and you know, it takes a while to get used to that as well.
imagine.
So I don't know.
What do Fontaines D.C. vision of music? What is it for you, the role of music? Also as a member of a band, as a collective.
Yeah, I think that what does music mean to me fundamentally? It's a few different things. It's something that really enriches my life. I feel very lost without it. If I go more than a couple of days without playing music, I go really crazy. And it helps me express things I need to get out, or just make sense of my life. And that could be through making music or through listening to music, you know. And also, it's also the way that I buy my food.
That's a more practical reason,
So,
but
you
it's
know.
still very important, mate. Carlo, I know you have a very cool, strong last question for Deego.
Normally, as a media, we always ask, what would you like to become looking at the future? Your identity for us is very, very, very clear. You are from D.C. and you're, I don't know how to say, really...
You're already iconic.
Yeah, you're iconic
Alright.
as you are. So we want to ask you, to end this little interview, what is Fontaines D.C. will never become?
Something that you really don't want to become, something that you wish that will never happen to you, Deego, and to the
my
band.
God. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's a tricky one, isn't it?
Well, there's a lot of things I hope won't happen to us, injury, etc. But I think that if we became people who didn't enjoy music anymore, if we got up on the stage, literally for paychecks, that would be fucking terrible. Because actually, I think that the lads in my band, and I might say it about myself as well, are like people who live for music and very passionate. And if that was gone, and we're still doing the exact same thing, that would be really tragic.
Okay,
That's a powerful statement
statement.
to conclude this interview.
Deegan,
That's
thank you
amazing.
so much. Have fun tonight. Have a great show.
Right,
Thank
cheers,
you
guys.
so much.
Hope Milan
Thank you
treats
so
you
much.
right, and thank
Yeah.
you for being here.